All right, welcome, welcome. We got GQ Brown back in the building, episode 3. Talk to us. What's on your mind today?
So you know what's up, people? Peace to the gods and goddesses, everybody. Well, today, we're gonna talk about the psychology of which quote unquote we call the street nigga. And I thought about this topic because I've been hearing everything. Been talking about the 50 years of hip hop. I'm 48 years old. My second interview, I didn't really get into much about myself because being a quote unquote ex street nigga, ex criminal. We don't really talk too much. We don't like getting on cameras and really saying too much. And then now I see like the internet is full of a lot of people who claim to be street dudes, and I'm not telling nobody what type of street dudes what to be or how to be or even ask or even try to test to see if they really was that. So today I'm basically going to break down the psychology of being a street dude, and because most street dudes claim from being in foster homes, being in broken homes, and they went out to the streets to find a way of living. And that's where a lot of problems came in, and it's also was like a secret war that went on. But we gonna get more into that during this conversation. So that's what's on my mind.
Right. And when you say secret war, you think we still at war now? Like what you?
Yeah, hip hop. See, this thing with hip hop. Being from New York, I'm originally I was born in Harlem, raised in South Jamaica, Queens, right? Being from New York, they say hip hop started. We gotta look at the people who started it. Like people, things about African man being bothered. Some things that's been out there about him. I don't know to the extent. Yet and still, it's like they some real crazy allegations. But yet and still, me being in the game and being in the streets. I jumped up the porch when I was 10. So I've been in the streets for a long time. And I've been in a lot of places. I've been in prison for. I've been upstate 3 times, but I've been in prison a few times. Been locked up 28 times. So I've been around a lot of things. I've been around a lot of things. I've been around a lot of people, and I know I know the psychology of things because I spoke to multiple older dudes and spoke to multiple women. I come from a grandfather who was a Mac. I come from a father who was Hebrew, who had 4 wives. I come from men who's been selling all types of stuff. Like Fat Cat. Fat Cat is my foster parents' grandchild. So I've been around a lot of things in my life. I stay quiet about it. And just now I'm looking at how so many younger people are getting into hip hop and trying to follow this direction of a street nigga. But when in all actuality, it was a war. It was a war placed on us. That's why we have COINTELPRO. That's why we have all these hip hop artists pushing, selling drugs and disrespecting women and robbing and doing drugs and killing. It's all psychological warfare.
100%. How do you think that we change that? Because we come into a point where we got kids that think that's the only thing that's cool. It's hard for the positivity or even the good things to even catch their attention anymore. Do we need like just the right idols to keep pushing the right things, or like how you think that's gonna change?
It's gonna change when we get the right people. Like we live in a society where people idolize people. That's why we have sports. That's why we have superstars. That's why we have movie stars. Everybody out of like we live in as people that really know what's going on. They call us a clay nation. That we live in a clay nation. This is a clay area. People could with clay you could form people. You could form anything. Everything is formed. That's why I said a lot of people don't know. A lot of people they really manufactured. They really don't they don't look at it like that because they don't think in their minds that they could be manufactured. Yeah, if you really look at the demographics of a lot of things, a lot of people is manufactured.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I agree, especially with the clay, with this clay world, because like they build us up just to have the power to be able to tear us down when we ain't doing what sometimes what they want us to do. We seeing that with these celebrities and so much nowadays.
Look what's going on with Diddy. Anybody from New York, anybody from New York who was in the streets, like and I'm saying this on camera, anybody who was in the streets knee deep, from going to the tunnel, going to the limelight, going to the Muse, going to Fever, going to Oak One, going to Greenhouse. They all these clubs back in the day, everybody know what Diddy was into. So what I'm seeing now, I'm not surprised about it. Yet and still, it's like he's one of the gatekeepers. It's just, that's not like we look at hip hop, and it's one thing I've learned about hip hop. People in hip hop like to lie. They let to lie, and they worship. They worship the most scrungy and decrepit ass niggas that they can find. Everybody, niggas is on blast. Like we living in the truth era. A lot of truth to come out about people. People, oh no, they say no, this because they don't want to face the truth. It's like our last conversation. We was talking about how the truth. Nobody want to face the truth anymore.
Yeah. And it's so crazy. You say Diddy a gatekeeper. To me, Diddy just somebody who know where the gate at. I don't even look at him as actually like a whole gatekeeper, man, because we seen examples of people just as powerful as him. He's super powerful, but like people are just being taken. And right now we may be at the early stages of seeing him it get taken from him. We could be.
I'm saying he a gatekeeper because, like I said, I grew up in New York, and I was I've been around dudes before they became who they was. I remember seeing Jay-Z standing on lines. I remember my niggas used to clown Jay-Z. We used to clown Biggie. We used to clown these niggas. Like, we used to be at the tunnel knee deep. These niggas be standing on lines. Like, I say a gatekeeper because I've been around and I heard how he came up through the ranks. And when I say a gatekeeper, meaning the Jews, like Kanye said, Kanye got a lot of flack from him, but it's real shit. If you look, I have a start date around my neck, which is another conversation. Yeah, I've been around them. I've been around these Jews. My godmother was a prominent Jew when I was in my foster home. She had me around all these people, and I know how they think. I know the coach. I know that whole culture. I know how they play on a lot of things. I know the mental games. I know the magic. I know the hexes. I know all that stuff. Diddy was Clive. He was Clive Davis' puppet. That's why I say he's a gatekeeper because he was one of the puppets for Clive, and that's what they do to most of these dudes. Like Jay-Z, he's a puppet for Lyor. And most people, and you see, they ain't be telling a lot of people and stuff, but like I said, people you say they look at it as somebody hating or somebody having some type of animosity because they think a dude got quote unquote $1 billion or he's a billionaire. All that shit is credit. All that shit is niggas don't got that money and they can't liquidate that money. And you gotta look at this. Hip hop been around for 50 years. Dudes are supposed to be the leaders of hip hop. Why are they only playing with $1 billion? When hip hop generates at least about 10 to 20 billion a year. The numbers don't lie. The numbers do not lie. Yet and still, nobody wants to sit back and look at the psychology of things because once you look at the psychology and you look at the methods and you see how the algorithms and all these things, you'll see the truth. You'll see the truth. But it's not, the psychology of a street nigga is like, act like you got money and chase bitches.
Man, with us pushing out the truth, and with us pushing out the truth and making it be known and knowing that, so that information is get wide, and we now know that we see the gatekeepers, see what they doing, and every time somebody try to make change, we see that sometimes they get broken down or held back. I, what's the route? How do you think that we really go be able to make some changes? What I be thinking sometimes, man.
Only thing we can make things change, bro, is unity. We have to unify. We have to unify. Like we have to unify.
Yeah.
I watch the podcasters and I watch these things, whatever, and I sit back and I do a lot of analyzation. I do a lot of research, and I've been doing a lot of research because that's what mainly kept me alive. I've always got to have information about something before I even speak on it, and I have to experience it to even speak on it to be able to say anything about it because you can't talk about nothing you didn't live. And that's just like with hip hop, it's like that whole culture is built around lies. It was when rap came out at the beginning. Rap was another form of way of us to express the disenfranchisement, to express the problems that we was having, to express what was going on. Like it was like another form of way of being hood news, having news. It turned into this hip hop thing. Now dudes is dressing up a certain type of way. You have the rappers go from consciousness to try to look like street niggas. Then we have your man Tupac. A lot of people get mad at me when I say negative things about Tupac. Yet still is like Tupac did a number. He did a number on our people. He brought the thug that thug to us. And if anybody do their history and look up the history of thug and what word it comes from, the word thuggies, of these it was these dudes from the 13th century that used to run around rob, doing homo shit, doing all types of crazy shit. They used to rob people. They said they was built on charisma, but they used to use their charisma to fuck people over. Pop bought that to us. Because if you look at hip hop, if you look at rap, before he came about, niggas was dancing and getting dressed up and singing. He come around and he even started off like that. Then all of a sudden he turned to this thug thing and changed the words around and look. Now you got everybody running around talking about they thugs. All you gotta do is look up the information that I'm sharing with y'all. Just look up the information of a thuggies and look at their characteristics and look at the characteristics of the thugs now, and you see. And you tell me if I'm lying. It's some deep shit, man. It's some real deep shit.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I always thought it was real interesting on how the early interviews of Pac come up, how proper he was talking, and just how good spirit. I love everybody. I love females, and to just fast forward just a couple years, where the image, the talk, the everything was just so, as you could say, manufactured. The fact that he wasn't born on the West Coast, but he said the West Coast is who made him, though. But the fact he wasn't there, and that's who he decided to claim, and like to the end, and a lot of it just seemed like somebody was in control sometimes, man. But at the same time, so many people, like in other interviews that recently came out, his father, I seen all type of stuff was just talking about like how hurt he was, like, and that's what kind of transformed him.
Yeah, because he was
But
a nigga. He was a nigga. He tried to be a nigga. He wasn't. This nigga was hanging around Haitian Jack. Like, what type of like nigga? Like, come on. Them two. That whole shit. When I see this shit back in the day, like I said, I've been around. Like, I've been around. Like, my first girlfriend, I was 16. My first girlfriend was a 36-year-old madam in New York. Mind you, we talking about, I'm 48 years old. So when I was 16, we talking about early 90s. Late 80s, early 90s. My chick was 36. And she was a madam. Had 5 girls, two faggots, and a transgender. And she was in the mix. So, Haitian Jack, what's the other dude? What's the other dude got locked up? Jimmy Henchman. All these niggas, like, I ain't been around. And I've been around some of the chicks they was messing with. So when I seen Pac hang around these type niggas, it's like, nigga, you don't know who you hanging around. And then you gotta think a lot of these dudes that came over here from the islands, they came over here and got involved with the American woman. And you gotta look at the era that we was coming out of back then. Back then, in my era, niggas was pimping. Niggas like in my hood in Queens, going to the strip club was corny growing up. And I'm from South Road. Anybody do the history on South Road, it's a whole stroll. So I understand the game from a different angle. And I understand the game from where I got taught the game by a madam. So she taught me the game on how street niggas is. And most street niggas, they mentality, no homo on pause. Them niggas live on account of their dicks. And that's and if you look now, if you look at hip hop, what is all the songs about? Sex is the main focus of music. Why is that? I'm telling you, it's a way of manufacture, and these big labels know this. They know this. Why do you think they not singing this stuff to their people? And if anybody have a concordance, you could go look in a concordance and see where it got Judah, who they claim to be, what they claim to be us, and it got us in there as musicians, actors, and all. And just look at it. We the biggest influence around the world now. And they always knew this. But I ain't gonna say but. We don't know this. And just look how much money they make off of us.
Yeah, the biggest thing that we don't know is that we involved in the game, that they playing the game. I still remember because my ID to this day say East 99th and St. Clair, Cleveland, Ohio, Bone Thugs. And to this day it stood out when I was growing up, this interview that they did. They was talking about how these big people came in and told them about the agenda they was pushing. Pretty much it was a secret meeting concerning pushing the violence and stuff. And these people was connected to the penitentiary and shit like that. So the fact that they was really feeding violence to try to make the certain areas more violent to feed their system, I thought was just so crazy on how deep that is on why the music is even connected to the penitentiary at all. Like, it's
And
crazy. Like,
I'm glad you brought that up because you definitely opened the door. I didn't think it was open. Let me break something down about prison systems. I've been in prison 3 times. Well, upstate 3 times, but I've been locked up 28 times. Prison is what you call a REIT, REIT, Real Estate Investment Trust. When they open a prison, that's why it's privately. The prison that real estate investment trust have to stay, it got to have an occupancy of 95%. So this is business. And the reason why most of these big corporations and these music labels is a part of it is because it's a big business. And they noticed. Why you think if you pay attention to all the lawyers, aren't most of the lawyers Jews? So you think they don't have no play in the prison industry? Crime is one of the biggest industries there is. It's bigger than tech. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than, only thing is bigger than crime is religion. So these are both industries that our people are heavily into. Yet we don't. We don't. I gonna say we because I know how it works. I've been around. A lot of people don't know how it works. So by you saying what Bone Thugs and them saying, and they exposed it, you think people went and did their homework? I heard people sit back and say, "Oh, them niggas is lying. Them niggas is bugging." No, people say that shit because they want to find an excuse not to do the work, not to do the research. Ain't nobody gonna make no outlandish claim like that. When you see, man, we have a 90. The Fed's got a 98.9 conviction rate, bro. There's no such thing as that. You can't tell me that's not made up. That's not set up. That's not already an agenda.
Man, because that's why I feel like, man, I don't know what to do because, like, to me, I don't think it's an information thing no more. Because when I seen some of these things and then Bone Thugs talk about it and even come spread the information like, no, we got to do more positive stuff when they come back home and say the reasons why. And then when Kanye go on his rants and show screenshots of the person talking about like, oh yeah, we gonna put you back in a zombie mode and all this other stuff that I don't know if you remember that with
Yeah,
Kanye,
yeah.
and all these signs that like these people is evil people that's really manipulating our culture and manipulating powerful people that's in our culture, and it's not like average Joes. These is a billionaire and one of the biggest rap group to ever touch America. That's coming out with this, and we still not believing it.
Because again, like we said in our last interview, that's why when I said you asked me about our people being lost, we not lost. Like you said, the information is out there. We seeing it's getting shoved down our nose. Yet and still, it's the fear. And they don't want to make up their own curriculum. That's why this conversation we having is more about the manufacturing. These dudes know they being manufactured. They even help. They even helping manufacture. For instance, the Bloods and the Crips situation. It was exposed that it was a COINTELPRO program or detail, whatever concept they want to place on it. That's out there. People still run around talking about their Bloods and their Crips. You got the bigger homie. Larry Hoover still sitting in prison. And if you look at what he was doing, he was educating the hood. He was educating the street nigga. I grew up in Queens where we was God body. Even though niggas was hustling, whatever, you couldn't come on that block if you didn't know nothing. You had to know your lessons. So the education, though, it's been there. It's always been there. The information's been there. Yet still, it's the saturation of the coward niggas. Why you think they put crack in the hood? They knew what crack was going to do. They see what heroin, they put the heroin in. The heroin, it broke up a lot of homes, but what they did was with the heroin, they applied the foster home situation. And a lot of us that was in foster homes came up in some fucked up situations. And I can say that I was in a foster home up until my dad got into my life. So I know from experience how deep, how messed up the foster care system was. Yet still, a lot of them kids that was there, their parents was on heroin. Crack didn't come out till I was around 10, 11 years old. I was right in the streets at 10. So I seen the effects of what crack did. I'm gonna say this, right? I get what you say about us being lost. I go with you on that. Where my other stance on that about us not being lost is this information is given to us. We got to think like this. You got to think of my parents. My parents came from parents who was ex-slaves or coming out of that. The stuff with Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and all that. So these are people that raised people of my age, and most of the men around us was in the army or came up from the military. So we was around a different breed of human being, a different breed of beings. Let's think: if a woman had a child with a man, he got shipped off to the army. She honored him because he was going there. She, in her mind, her psychological, he was going there to keep America safe. So she had more respect for him. But when he went over there, they drugged them up, did all type of experiments on them. They sent these men back home. Like in Queens. A lot of dudes in Queens growing up South Jamaica, a lot of their parents, a lot of their uncles and fathers is ex-army men. So imagine these dudes coming home, they killers for real. And they know how to kill. So dudes who was getting money used to hire these niggas to do the killing, and then take claim for what these dudes did. But these dudes know how to kill. That's why a lot of them was going to jail. That's why we look at the history of Queens. A lot of dudes, it'd be murders over there, but they don't speak on it because most of the dudes over there was ex-military, and this is how most dudes got trained. So, like I said, a lot of people be knowing things, but they don't want to. They try to keep things to themselves. Like this thing about us as a people, we are the most secretive people. We're one of the most secretive people than anybody on earth. And the secrets be bullshit. The secrets be bullshit. Yet still dudes still be trying to run around like they fucking incognito to some shit that they have no clue. They have no clue about owning. As I said, this stuff is so deep, and stuff is so deep and it's so crazy because it's like everything's in our face. And we just don't want to change. It's like we change it for the worse.
So concerning being the psychological effects of being in the streets and us going through this and say we do got the information, what you think the worst is? How is it affecting us the worst? Like what's the worst outcome, or like what you think is doing the most damage? Even long term. Me personally, I think what I see with the government, with they not even targeting my group or even Generation Z, like the 18, 20-year-olds no more. I see all these laws about the education in the school system, stuff like that, where they attacking the kids. And it made sense to me because no matter what they say to us or try to teach us, it's going to be so hard for them to change certain mindsets with us now. But they can definitely push it down to the next generation. They control everything. Like if you can re-grip that next generation and get them back in line, then they straight. And I feel like that's what's going on at the moment. And but what you think is the worst effect of this mindset that we currently have if we can't fix it?
The genders. This thing I just broke down. The men when I was growing up, we had men. We had the masculine energy was warranted in the house. They wanted, like the woman wanted it there. The woman didn't want to be a masculine figure. Now it's a gender thing. That's the reason why they're attacking it and they're pushing it so far down people's throats, because they know if there's no masculine energy being pushed through his right channels, it's gonna come out with an imbalance. Let's just think about us as men, as nature being men. We are some of the most hating, disruptive. Like we don't know. Like if another dude comes say something to him, man, fuck that nigga, or fuck this, fuck that. Even when we grew up with them, they know that's a part of our nature. That's a part of being a male. It's part of being a masculine. We don't want to follow no fucking body. We want to have our own shit. The feminine is more of a nurturing system. They listen. They pay attention. That's why in scripture, if you see back, these are thousands of years practice. When they go in to kill a nation or whatever, they kill all the men and keep the woman. Now it's like, okay, if you look at the time and space of the 60s, the late 60s, up until now, over roughly about 900-some thousand men went to prison. This here in America. Then they sending people over, coming over here. They come over here with their cultures. They come over here with their way of thinking. So now they pushing us away. Then now our women's going around other groups of women who men treat them a certain type of way. They had jobs with each other. They talking. They speaking about. So now our women hearing that. Now the women looking at us thinking about how they was done wrong. They taking on a psychological mindset of how relationships supposed to be from a group of women that was never really revered as queens and goddesses. So now they trying to take on this group of women ideologies that about a man supposed to just love you and love you alone. That's not even a man's biological makeup. Then you gotta look at, like I said, we gotta look at this what is most as being grown up in the streets. It's basically is just poverty. People that's in poverty. A person in poverty cannot think like a person. Can't think like a woman or think like a person that comes from a household where they claim more than 70, 80,000 a year. It's different demographics. For instance, I grew up with my mother watching my mother sell pussy. I got put in a foster home behind her selling pussy. You think my mindset is gonna be the same as a mindset of a child who grew up in a home where he or she had his mother and father there? No, it's two different things. And with your mind, what you see and what you program your mind to, that's what you for life. That's what you for life. There's no getting around that. Why do you think when you speak to people, they always talk about their trauma? Because they haven't. That's all they got on their mind. They haven't uploaded any other information there to even push that out. So, like I said again, it's a lot of stuff. Like you have a group of people they know what they know how to manufacture the human.
Yeah, 100%. Even talking about how people can't move past. It's funny. I was watching this podcast. I forget the name of the podcast, but it was this older white billionaire, Caucasian billionaire. He one of the founders of Patron, and actually, so I'm sure it won't be that too hard to find him. He was just talking about most people is stuck in the past, holding on to that and not able to think clearly and move in the future. And like that's most people's biggest mistakes, where it's like you can't change yesterday's news. And a lot of people live in with regrets, or I should have did this better, and they spend so much time thinking about that, so much time being stuck on that, or damn, if I only would have did this better, life would be better, or I missed this opportunity. And if we are in the jungle and you a lion and you saw a deer or any beast yesterday, you can't be stuck on like, oh, if I would have caught that yesterday. Like you gotta like we definitely be stuck on that too much and gotta push past, man.
Because I said it's a psychological mind game. When I was in prison, I read this book called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, right? And basically, it was about this dude. He was a high-priced lawyer, living the lifestyle of what society say to live as a lawyer, and it burnt him out. He went off to Tibet, started learning more about the body, nature, and things of that concept, of those concepts. And he come to realize the mind has 60,000 thoughts. It has 60,000 thoughts a day. 90 to 95% of them is the same thoughts. This why I say if a person don't upload new information into, like, your brain is like a computer. If you don't upload new information, or how they say how this with a computer, you got the Norton, you have all these things. Sometimes you gotta get rid of them viruses and upload new information. You got, like how they say, you gotta update. You gotta update. And most people, they try to live in yesterday because they don't want to live in today, and they don't even think about they don't even know how to think about the future because they don't want to put the work in. Let's think about this, America. Look how much information we have. This is just we could, even if we didn't have the computers, bro. Just from what you see every day is information. It's impossible for people to not pay attention to this stuff. They complain about it, and if you complain about it, evidently you could see something that's bothering you, right? So I'm telling you, bro, it's real deep, man. It's real deep, and when it's that deep, you know it's a psychological problem.
100%. 100%. I still be stuck on just like, cause I've been noticed the problem with society on many levels, man. I just be so stuck on just trying to figure out how to help change it. Cause like, it ain't an information problem, man. Information is there. We got the tools. Um, how do we start changing? Even if the person looking at this interview and it's like, all right, man, I ain't even just now expanding their mind. They didn't even realize the game they being played in, the world they in, and they sat there and started looking around and just thinking about their life and like change their perspective and say they wanted to make change, man. How do people make change?
I was watching I watched something last week. What was it, Candace? Was it Candace Owens? No, it wasn't Candace Owens. It was somebody it's a thing called Reddit. Called Reddit I be watching, right? And they was talking about the Bin Laden letter that they took down, like they took out, and Bin Laden was explaining about how vicious America is. Yet still, they didn't read the Willie Lynch letter, nor did they read the letter that Hitler wrote to America. America will give us the information that these other people are terrorists, this, that. But let's really look at the practices of America. You touched on something very, very, very major: education. Who? How can you claim a place is the greatest place on earth, and you don't even educate your people properly? This information that what the Rockefellers did, what the Bilderbergers did, how they went and set up certain curriculums back in the days in the 50s and 60s to like what information they're going to give, they're going to educate the people to. This stuff is out there. And we even see from the education, people send their kids to school and they come home. These parents not doing homework with these kids. I know for myself. I got children. I got 10 children. I'm the one who sit back and make sure my children got proper education. I call my kids and talk to my kids and check them mentally. Their moms, I ain't taking them from their moms. I love them, but there's no proper playbook for even mothers now. These mothers now, because they feed a child, they clothe a child and add shelter, that's being a mother. That's not that. I've seen women spend more money on hair, nails, getting their body done, the latest fashion, more than for their kids getting a proper education.
Yeah, I agree because that stuff to me is just the necessity of life to take care of that being and bring it to life. But I truly believe most of our education should be foreign based at home, and expand their minds. It's a curriculum at school, and the curriculum is based. The whole school system is based. Get in line, stand in line, learn this, figure out how to comprehend and remember this detail so you can fulfill the job. The job is the test at this moment, but later the test is going to be an actual job on whatever curriculum you do best. And we don't understand that that's all that system is. It's nothing more and nothing less. Concerning expanding that person's mind, and it is good schools or good colleges where you can branch off into other classes and do things if you know how to like use that system properly. But especially grade school, high school, that's just get in line, learn this, remember this, and take this test.
Bro, why do you think I said back in slavery they had it better? Even though they was getting ass whipped, their children learned a skill from a very young age. And whatever the skill they learned, that them kids helped take care of that family, for that family to prosper and get the things that they need. Now, our kids, we have our children, we send them, we try to teach them something in the house, we send them out into the world. Now they're going out into the world meeting all these other people with different type of indoctrinations, ideologies, and concepts. Then now this child's coming back into the home to express it to their parent. Some of their parents don't even have the time to talk to them. They're too busy going to work, doing what they do to take care. Then you got a lot of single mothers, and I'm not taking that from single mothers. But a lot of them don't be even having time to take care of their children. Imagine a single mother who got to raise 3 children and she working 40 hours a week. Where the time come in for her to really sit down and chill with these kids? It's some deep stuff. And like I said, the men I put faults on the men because the men are the energy, they are the energy givers. That's why I said this thing with the street nigga thing. Once they started to manufacture and build a street nigga, they already knew what they was building. Unlike I am seeing the reverse with a lot of dudes now is more into their kids' lives, but I'm gonna tell y'all some real shit. I learned this a long time ago. My uncle, God bless his soul. My uncle Damon. He like nephew. You know I don't fuck with a lot of niggas. He said niggas got too many kids. I was like, what that got to do? He said, nephew, you can't be no street nigga and be having a bunch of kids. A nigga could kidnap your kid's mother, kidnap your kids. And as I got older, and for me seeing what he used to do to people who had kids and how he's implant fan dudes, I was like, whoa. How you selling drugs and claiming to be a family builder? I tried from my own experience. It's hard. I got 10 kids by 7 different women. I was in the streets. Yeah, I gave my children's mothers money. I gave my kids, I spoiled my children with fine things. Yeah, and still now, I'm dealing with the repercussions of that shit. Some of my children don't know shit. I love them, and I try to, I'm working with them to try to update them. Yeah, it's still like they don't really know nothing. They know the basic bullshit. And it's sad to say that I be having to go through with their mothers about the shit, and they always, oh, I done been to college, I done did this, I done did that. You motherfuckers don't know nothing. Like, and I got kids mother who's married. So I'm not dealing with no welfare recipient chicks. All my children's mothers make certain money, but they all brainwashed as well. I can't even express some of the arguments and some of the things we bump heads about. Yeah, instead I'm telling y'all this it's a dangerous game, and then most dudes who out there hustling, it would be crazy for you to even deal with a chick who got a 9-to-5 job. She only using you. She know you going to jail. And she just getting herself in a position, you paying this, you paying this, you paying that. As soon as you go to jail, she moving on to the next thing. That's been a hustle for the past 20 years. Tell you, it's just like boy. We live in a crazy world right now, man.
Man, for sure, for sure. And it's so funny you said concerning like being smart, but they still brainwashing people. The tricky thing with knowledge is the more knowledge you have, the more you think that you know so much where you can't be tricked or bamboozled. And they even said like, man, question everything. They was like the thing about even if you got the CEO of a company, anybody can be right or wrong. And the smarter a person is, or the more of a position they have, the more other people sometimes may take their word for bond. We're like, I really know this person know what they talking about because they got so much knowledge in this. But everybody could be right or wrong, could be being brainwashed or mistaken. Like, and that's why research, like we was talking before, order. Make sure you follow order and research and just knowing and just learning every day. But that was just an interesting point. You just saying like, yeah, they got college degrees. They not stupid or anything, but they brainwashed still. Like, like yeah,
I'm telling you, bro.
yeah,
I'm telling you, I've had conversations with my children's mothers. Even my mom she got all types of degrees, and I love her daily. I can't express you how much I love my mother. She, I have my biological mother overdosed in front of me, and this woman took me in and loved me as one of her own. And I love this woman. Yet and still, She has plenty of degrees. And me and her, I be like, Ma, me and her be having heavy conversations. And I be like, Ma, I be pointing things out to her. And I'm like, your husband, my pops, this is what he was into. Look what y'all had compared to what you have now. And I grew up in a household where my father had 4 wives. I've never seen them arguing. I never seen them debating about bullshit. I seen them learning. I seen them make up their own language. I seen them buying properties. I seen them running businesses. I never seen his wife work for nobody. So, like I said, I grew up with a different concept, and I grew up with a different outlook on life than most people. That's why I can say safely and stand on it that I know most street niggas got manufactured through the system. Just think, let's break down hip hop, bro. Like we just talking about. They did that. They did all that stuff to us in hip hop in that era, right? You know how much money they ain't made off of Snowfall? Do you know how much money they ain't made off of Scarface? Do you know how much money they made off American Gangster? Do you know how much money they've made off all these hood movies? Do you know how much money they've made off the stories that come from and the content? There was content creating back then. People didn't see that shit. Them people can only get energy from us. And I was like, Grandpa, what you talking about? He said, the energy that we give, they live off it. And, bro, I see it, bro. I see it. From the jury, niggas been selling this bullshit jury for years. The clothes, they been upmarking the clothes on us. The food, everything. We the most consumption, we consume every fucking thing. We like a bunch of fucking pigs. Literally. If you had to put us, if you had to put us to, you had to compare us to a bunch of animals, they would have to put the American, quote unquote, black person, they would be compared to a pig. Because that's all they do is consume shit. So I'm telling you, bro, trust me, man, I be sitting back, and I'm a father with 10 kids and 4 grandkids already. So you imagine what be going through my head when I be seeing this shit going on, man. Listen, I don't want to build another group of beings like I see most people are.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's definitely interesting. The state of mind of the world, just the direction everything is going in. I feel like how we being so manipulated for sure. And I really hate that our people are so strong but so gullible and being manipulated. And I think a big problem for sure is like you said on like them eradicating or erasing the masculine energy. I think that's actually when you was talking about that is playing a big part. And I just picture like a little meter of just like the feminine loving energy and the masculine energy and just like how on just really just how like and you were right, the whole science of it all, changing the mindset, locking a lot of dudes up. The dudes that is doing harm, so many dudes got killed and lost. It's just been like a crazy phase the last like however many years. But for sure, I think this media era, this last 50 years of hip hop and this whole media run that we've been on, or I think it's been super fast forwarded since then. Like,
Just think about this. Women be saying, oh, I don't need a man. I don't need this. Women run the world. These women run around looking like drag queens, bro. Majority of women today look like drag queens, bro. What?
We're just super aggressive. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and like up north, our females are so, and they got love and spirit still too. But the average, when you talk to the mindset of them, the conversation of them, even the lingo and how they talk, is just way more aggressive than it's ever been.
Yeah, because the men ain't no men been there to show them like, yo, you got the. Trust me, I ran into some woman. Like I said, I got a lot of women in my family. And I even see the aggression that they be having. And sometimes I have a woman jump in my face, and I'm looking at them like, yo, I done been in some of the worst prisons. And I ain't come out with no stories, ain't no cuts on my face. None of that. And I get busy. You know what I would do to you? But if you touch it, then don't hit a woman. No. Don't jump, don't jump in a realm. Don't jump in a situation where you think you're a man. You're not a man. I will never want to be a no woman. Never crossed my mind. Yet still, I had men teach me what it is to be a man and how to respect a woman. Now, if you don't got the characteristics of a woman, you got to deal with the consequences that come along with it. And this is what our women are dealing with today. This dude, Kevin Samuels, came out and started exposing a lot of this stuff, which in all actuality, he learned this from the one sister, and she was telling a woman a long time ago, don't get caught up in what society is saying. Make sure y'all follow these rules. What is be a woman? And that's not, like I said, that's a woman take on a lot of characteristics of the Caucasian woman who wasn't honored by her man.
And everything. Do you think so? With the manufacturing of a street name, do you think they also manufacturing the black woman as well?
Of course, because they know that's a street. That's the street. That's like I said, street nigga pause. He lived through his day. Let's think about street nigga. What his main focus is. Listen, that's all he do. Everything he do is for a woman.
Yeah. So
You're not buying these cars and this jewelry, these clothes. You're not doing that for no personal gain. You're doing that so you could mess with this chick, that chick. Look how the chicks these niggas is dealing with now. And he dealing with the same chicks.
it's real interesting, man. It's definitely real interesting.
Bro, just look how our woman sit back and say all these things about they don't need no nigga and all this, right? What are they getting their hair done? What are they buying these big ass eyelashes for? What are they getting their nails done, their feet done, getting these fake asses, getting these ribs moved and titties on? What do you think they doing this shit for?
Yeah, but they is doing it for a nigga, but not for a nigga for love. I'm around a lot of strippers, a lot of females, and most of them look at that as investments to make more money. Not even to actually find love, or I'm doing it for a nigga to be happy with. It's really because, like, shit, I want to look good because one, my self confidence ain't the highest, and then two, I'm about to make my money back because I'm about to work this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so and yeah, so I guess you're right. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
love
think about
has
it.
become a tool of scam, a scamming tool.
Yeah, hell yeah,
That's what it is. It's become a scamming tool.
100%, man.
And then too, these women, it's only a small group. It's only a small group of men that these women is chasing after. And most of these men are puppets for other men.
For real. Because it's an imbalance for sure. The fact that now the females that this I want to be so independent, or I am so independent, a lot of females, black females and all over, is getting so much more money than they really ever have in history. So they really don't need only but a small group of niggas when it come to financially. And that's where that kind of problem is, where it's like it's real man that ain't got it financially today, or might have it tomorrow. But they really so stuck like, no, this nigga don't make enough, this nigga don't do enough, or blah blah blah. And it's like that whole mindset of that alone is messed up and hard to compare because you're only chasing a small group of dudes. And y'all gotta understand with them, most dudes is hustling off their own hustle, ideas, or product. Females is hustling off their ideas, hustle, but then can hustle off their image and hustling just because they look good and be able to finesse a couple dollars over here. And it's just, of course, y'all gonna make a little bit more money than the average dudes. Y'all got more lanes y'all could touch.
And there's more women than there's men.
Yeah.
On Earth.
Yeah. So, but that's where I think the imbalance is, where it's just like oh, this dude don't make enough or this don't make enough. He could show you the money you is making. He could probably figure out a way. Y'all can be a team. Y'all can do anything. Y'all can build an empire. But y'all just so stuck that he ain't got more than you right now.
But I
Like,
look at the majority. Are you saying numbers, right?
mhm.
The majority of women out there, you have 9 to 5 women talking some stuff that these other women who've been around certain type of dudes and been around certain type of people that know the demographics of that life. They trying to follow these women. These chicks is going 9 to 5 like you answer to a boss. You answer to a supervisor. But you trying to kick game on a nigga in the streets because you know he feel he got something special. When no actuality, like you just a pawn. And that's a narrative. That's the most narrative. And then they trying to talk about they independent. And I'm at fault for that because I helped push that narrative, knowing I just was making money off of it back then. I knew these chicks were delusional, talking about they independent. Bitch, you on welfare. How the fuck is you independent? You get Social Security. How are you independent? You making your kids take drugs for a check. How are you independent? There's so many things I could point out that chick, how are you independent? Because you doing it by yourself? No. You laid down with a nigga that you knew wasn't going to be able to help because he was a build-a-bear ass nigga. How are you independent? There's no such thing as independent. America's not even independent. We import 90% of our goods. And like I tell people, America, if you look at it from a parent to child concept, America itself is supposed to be like the parents. So the parents ain't independent. How the fuck is the kids gonna be independent? It makes no sense. But it's an ego. I said, oh, excuse me. It's an ego stroke. That's what they have to hold on to. Oh, that's what you self. That's their self esteem. Oh, I'm doing it by myself. That's the shit that they pseudo mind tricking themselves to believe because they really looking at the shit like, damn, I fucked up. That's why depression is so high. That's why anxiety is so high. That's why you see so many people smoking cigarettes, smoking weed, doing all these things. They trying to find some type of coping mechanism because they know they're living a lie. Like I said, as I said, once I started seeing the street nigga get manufactured and having a bunch of children, trust me, I had an epiphany at 38 years old. And I had to realize, like, trying to be in the streets and trying to do all that shit and trying to raise a family, that shit don't go together, bro. It makes no sense at all.
Man, you're definitely right. I know you definitely opening some minds right now. I a lot to you. You talking some real stuff. Some real stuff, man. So females manufacture the manufacturing of the street nigga been devastating to our thing. But I guess now I keep asking this question. I guess now with this time, just got to figure out what we got to manufacture to offset it. To manufacture more good man, maybe more entrepreneurs. Because I think one of our biggest problems in our neighborhoods is the lack of resources and the lack of businesses. And now this era, the last even 5 years since COVID, going on 4 years actually, but so many more entrepreneurs been having a push to fight and been doing their thing. Now I think it's the moment, just like all businesses, all Fortune 500 companies, a lot of times partner up with certain sectors and stuff like that. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, it's time to start partner up more and creating bigger things and bigger empires. It's a lot of people who doing their thing but not moving as fast as they could, and I feel like now our hood. Oh, and you speak about to this today, even unity. Unity is what I'm getting to. I think the community, I think the households, I think the businesses, we all need more unity for sure.
Man, I want to say something. I ain't put myself out there, but I know what's going on, right? And I was gonna say this. If you look at the world on a global scope, right? so-called Caucasian man here in America has lost his power. He's lost his power. Now, the only option is how do we gain traction? And if you look at the demographics of slavery, how did the slave master keep the man in check? He used the woman. He has to use the woman. And 9 times out of 10, if you look at the whole demographics of America, even with prominent Caucasian families, there's always a black woman at the root of raising their children. There's no getting around that. So they already know. They already know how to transfer things through the woman to build up society how they need society to be built up. Why just look at the presidency. Look who they used. They used a black woman. And our hands here stand saying here on camera. She's gonna be a president.
You think so?
Bro.
Man, that'd be answer.
Everybody look at this on this camera. I'm putting it out there. She's gonna be the president.
Her pose be real low though, because I be on Twitter, and especially you know how America got its separation at times, and some white people just still ain't for it. But I be seeing all type of people and be like, man, we ain't seen her in months or stuff like this. But it ain't even just them. Even now, our community don't even like her that much. I don't think she liked enough.
Listen, bro.
They
don't care. All that communities is. I'm into politics, bro. You know that's my shit.
You
bro,
think so?
I seen see C-SPAN like my favorite channel. That's always been my thing. I watched a joint years ago. The nigga Rockefeller, one of the Rockefellers, was talking about today. Was talking about how the America gonna be at so much of a division that they're gonna put somebody in there who's not really capable of being a president, and he's gonna have a woman as his backup, and he's gonna die in the process, and she's gonna become the president that way. She's not gonna get voted in, like she's gonna become president because he passes. What are we seeing today?
You think a presidency coming up? You think Biden gonna get reelected?
They're gonna listen. Who else? They're not putting Trump in there. And I'm a Trump fan. I fuck with
Because
Trump.
when it comes to the people, it was real iffy. Now throughout these last months, the polls he building traction though. They like, man, we rather have him in than what's going on now. That's how people feeling. Like,
yeah, they get the same still. Like the people realize and voting, the little people vote don't count. It's the electoral votes. Mm-hmm. The little people only count in local situations. Mm-hmm. When you get to that stage, it's a whole different demographics. It's just that they got the people down here. They got the people here thinking that they vote actually count. They vote only actually count when they see on TV the polls and see, oh, who's more likable. That shit don't matter, bro. That shit. Come on, Biden should have never been in that shit. This man been in politics for 47 years. He's been horrible all his 47 years. And it's recorded. Like, bro, they have video. They got video of this man touching on children. What his son got locked up for? Child pornography. The apple don't fall far from the tree. So like I said, there's a lot of things people be caught up in. I look at that shit and I just keep pushing. Cause I already know, like, if our people don't unify, bro, listen, they're gonna create a new human being. Bro, we seeing black men and Caucasian women being portrayed on TV now. This ain't the same world. We seeing Caucasian men and black women. They been knew that's what it was. They used that black and white crap on us to just to divide us. They know once people is unified, it's hard. It's hard to be a unified front. Why you think when they say Black Power, they held up a fist? They held up a fist because it means unity. You got more of you. You got more power when y'all together. And that's elementary shit, bro.
More than ever, man. It's time to not be quiet. It's time to get unified and in a positive light. Cause hip hop and destruction unified us, but that unity ain't. I mean, unified us as in like it brought us together on one thing. Like you know what I'm saying? Like oh, we love the hip hop, we love the thug life, we love Tupac, we love the we fell in love with even like the gangster rapping. Oh, he talking his stuff. Oh, he said that he gonna pull up with what nine and shoot it 5 different ways, and we just loved it. We took it in and loved it, and it's like
So what type of psychological game
yeah,
is that? Like when I was in the feds, I was running the Israelite car, right? Not to tell people hip hop is the new religion, and the rappers is the new prophets. Oh, kid, you tripping? I'm like, look at what the rappers do. They give you scripture through rap, through the words. You take that on as a concept of life. You live your life off them concepts. Look where we cater to. We cater to straight destruction. Them niggas ain't rapping about you going to kill no other group of people. They rapping about us killing each other. That's why when the dude Charleston White came out and was saying, I was so happy. And then anybody who know me that was in the feds with me, I was talking this shit back in 2013, 2014. When I was in the feds, around dudes. And dudes hated me. Because I went to trial and represented myself. Well, dudes, that's when I learned. I said, yo, the street nigga is a bunch of pussies. Like 98, 90. This was the motherfucker Marshall used to tell me. He said, yo, Weinstein been practicing law for over 50-some years. You the first man that went in his courtroom and represented yourself. Then I'm looking at the conviction rate, 98.9. Come on, bro. Niggas is telling on themselves. So if niggas is telling themselves, you know when you get to the streets, you know what comes along with this shit. You out here carrying guns or people carrying guns. There's all types of stuff going on in the streets. Streets is a wicked world. It's a wicked underworld. You gotta be a certain type of man to be able to stay in that shit and succeed. And me, I tell people, I made to be 48 years old. I thank the Elohim every day. I still got my limbs, my hair's still black. I don't got no grades, but I knew how to conduct myself because of how I was taught. And I'm telling you right now, just the street niggas like being a street nigga is like one of the corniest things there is to be in life right now. That shit is corny now. My homie told me one day, he said, Q, bro, you winning. He said, nigga, you could take care of your children. You could get up, not look over your shoulders, and you never told on nobody. You got no blemishes on your name. He said, nigga, you winning. But I ain't even run around and say, I'm not this. I tell people I was a criminal. I was a professional criminal. The street shit, I never called myself a street nigga or none of that dumbass shit. Cause I had far more intelligence than that. I knew it was avenue. I sat down when I was younger and I watched people around me work. And I watched people around me build. And I said, okay, I want to be like people who build for themselves. I took my routes I took the weed route. Now look at weed now. This shit's fucking legal. I did most of my time behind fucking marijuana.
crazy.
So this I know. This shit over here. This shit is over here. Is all a big game. It's a big game of Monopoly that people don't got instructions to, and I'm gonna keep saying that. Yo, so in closing, I'm gonna say this, people. I'm doing this because I have a lot of children, and this from the count of my children. I know if God willing, I'm gonna have probably about 20 to 30 members just from my group of children. And I want their worlds to be different from what's going on now. This is why I'm on these cameras speaking the truth, giving y'all the truth. And if none of y'all don't believe me, just go do your research. Like, even though Google ain't the best, man, go to a library. Go pick up a book. Sit down and talk to older people. Just sit down and just listen. Like, sometimes put your ego to the side and just sit back and listen. And learn how to love yourselves. Stop with these bullshit ass gimmicks and concepts of love. You cannot love. I'm gonna say something, and I don't want people to think this is religious, but this is it's some real thing. Now she would say, love your enemy as you love yourself. You know what enemy he was talking about? The enemy you carry within you. If you don't love the enemy that's within you, you're never gonna be able to love yourself. And what you see, what we seeing right now in this world, a lot of people got enemies. And it's basically themselves. And this is the energy that's being put into the world. Man, we could change this. And this is the time. This is the time. That's all I say, though. Spread love, keep peace.